The skies over Kyiv, Ukraine, were torn open again last night, as the city braced itself for yet another relentless assault. The familiar wail of air raid sirens echoed through the streets, warning residents to seek shelter as darkness fell. Russia unleashed a terrifying barrage of over 400 drones and at least 18 missiles, a scale of attack that has become all too common in recent months. The night sky was lit up by streaks of anti-aircraft fire and the distant flashes of explosions, a grim reminder of the ongoing war. For the residents of the capital, it was another night of terror, huddled in shelters as explosions rocked their city. Families clung to one another in the dimly lit subway stations, children trying to sleep through the chaos, while others anxiously checked their phones for updates and messages from loved ones. Tragically, at least 2 civilians were killed, their lives extinguished, in a conflict that continues to demand a horrific price. Emergency responders worked through the night, searching for survivors and comforting those who had lost everything in an instant. The grief and anger in Kyiv are palpable, as the city mourns yet another senseless loss. This brutal escalation has produced an unexpected ripple effect all the way in Washington, D.C. The images and reports from Ukraine have reignited debates in the halls of power, forcing American leaders to confront the reality of the conflict and its global implications. It has seemingly pushed former President Donald Trump to a breaking point, prompting a dramatic and public shift in his posture toward the Russian leader. Once known for his ambiguous stance, Trump now faces mounting pressure to clarify his position as the world watches. The language is no longer ambiguous or sympathetic. In recent statements, Trump has adopted a noticeably tougher tone, signaling a departure from his previous rhetoric and a willingness to confront the Kremlin more directly. Instead, it is sharp, direct, and dismissive of the man in the Kremlin, signaling a potential realignment of American foreign policy. The world is watching closely, wondering if this marks the beginning of a new era in U.S.-Russia relations. According to Mike Pence, this is more than just a fleeting comment, it is a sign that a core principle of American strength is reasserting itself. As the crisis in Ukraine deepens, the choices made in Washington could shape the future of the conflict and the world for years to come. To fully grasp the significance of President Trump's recent statements, it's important to look back at the complex and often controversial relationship he has had with Russia and its leader, Vladimir Putin, over the years. From the earliest days of his presidency, Trump's rhetoric about Russia was a subject of intense scrutiny. He frequently spoke about the potential for improved relations, sometimes even expressing admiration for Putin's leadership style. Throughout his first term, Donald Trump often projected an image of camaraderie with Vladimir Putin, appearing alongside him at high-profile summits, and rarely offering direct criticism, even when tensions between the two countries escalated. This approach often drew sharp criticism from both Democrats and Republicans, who accused Trump of being too soft on Russia and failing to hold Putin accountable for actions like election interference and aggressive moves in Eastern Europe. While his administration did provide lethal aid to Ukraine, a move that marked a significant shift from previous U.S. policy, Trump's personal tone toward Putin remained a source of constant controversy and debate in Washington. This long and complicated history makes his recent declaration all the more shocking, catching both supporters and critics off guard. In response to the devastating overnight attack on Kyiv, the former president did not equivocate or offer his usual measured words. Instead, he responded with a clarity and forcefulness that was previously unseen in his comments about Russia. He stated unequivocally that he has reached his limit with the Russian president, making it clear that the ongoing violence and aggression have crossed a line for him personally. He went further, labeling Putin's brutal actions as BS and meaningless, using language that left no doubt about his condemnation and signaling a dramatic break from his previous approach. This shift represents a complete reversal of his previous sympathetic tone, and it has sent shockwaves through both political parties and international observers who have long watched Trump's stance on Russia. For Ukraine, it is a welcome, if surprising, development that offers a glimmer of renewed hope for steadfast American backing. Many Ukrainians and their supporters see this as a potential turning point in the international response to Russian aggression. The question that remains is whether these strong words will be backed by concrete policy changes, or if they will simply mark another dramatic moment in the ever-evolving story of U.S.-Russia relations. To unravel the mystery behind President Trump's abrupt pivot on Russia, we look to former Vice President Mike Pence. Pence suggests the change is the result of a significant shift in influence within the president's inner circle. According to Pence, President Trump is finally hearing and heeding the advice of those advocating for a more muscular approach to foreign policy. Pence articulated his hope that the president is coming to a crucial realization. Vladimir Putin doesn't want peace, Pence stated plainly. Pence's argument, which he believes Trump is now adopting, is that such thinking is naive. The former vice president's analysis points to a victory for the more hawkish traditional Republican wing. If Pence is correct, Trump's new stance on Putin is not just a reaction to the latest bombing of Kyiv. It suggests that the arguments for a strong interventionist America are once again gaining ascendancy. Mike Pence identified the waning power of isolationist voices as the key catalyst for President Trump's change. These advisors have long advocated for a more withdrawn American posture on the world stage. A pivotal event that weakened this faction was their reaction to President Trump's military action against Iran. According to Pence, President Trump saw the Iran operation as a vindication of his belief in projecting American strength. This success demonstrated to the president that decisive action can be the most effective tool for protecting American interests. This context explains why the brutal Russian attack on Kyiv may have been the final straw for President Trump. The internal White House dynamics were highlighted by a concerning incident at the Pentagon. A decision was made to pause significant shipments of United States weapons to Ukraine. The order to pause the aid was reportedly signed off on by the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. This event highlights the battle of ideas within the administration. The temporary halt in weapons shipments was a clear victory for the isolationist camp. While defending Hegseth, Pence made it clear that the most important part of this story was the decisive action that President Trump took once he became aware of it. The story of the paused weapons shipments could have ended as a disaster for United States-Ukraine relations. Upon learning of the Pentagon's hold on the aid, President Trump acted immediately and decisively. He personally intervened and ordered the reversal of the decision. This reversal was more than just a logistical fix, it was a powerful political statement. By stepping in so forcefully, Trump sent an unmistakable message that he was in charge of this critical foreign policy file. To reinforce this message, President Trump took another significant step. He placed a direct phone call to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. This direct communication was immensely important for morale in Kyiv. For Mike Pence, this sequence of events is the ultimate proof of his argument. Beyond the immediate issue of military aid, there is another major policy battle brewing. Currently sitting in the United States Senate is a massive bipartisan Russia sanctions bill. The bill is designed to dramatically increase the economic pressure on Moscow. The potential impact of this bill cannot be overstated. However, the bill's path to becoming law has one major roadblock. It needs the president's support. His approval would virtually guarantee its passage with a veto-proof majority. President Trump has said publicly that he is strongly looking at the sanctions bill. For Mike Pence, this is a very positive signal. Pence believes that the mere act of Trump signing such a powerful bipartisan bill would send a shockwave through the Kremlin. At the heart of Mike Pence's analysis is a long-held conservative principle. The path to peace is paved with American strength. He argues that history provides a clear lesson. Pence insists that simply providing Ukraine with defensive weapons is not enough to end the conflict. To achieve a lasting peace, he argues, Ukraine must be given offensive capabilities as well. This peace through strength doctrine is what Pence sees re-emerging in President Trump's thinking. He believes the president is rediscovering the idea that a strong military and a robust economy are the greatest deterrents to war. Therefore, Pence is not just applauding Trump's tough words, he is urging him to back them up with even more muscular policy. For Pence, this is not about escalating the war but about ending it. He is convinced that the only language Vladimir Putin truly understands is overwhelming force. In conclusion, the brutal Russian assault on Kyiv may be remembered not only for its devastation, but for the unexpected political shockwave it sent across the Atlantic. The images of bombed buildings, families fleeing, and a city under siege have reverberated far beyond Ukraine's borders. forcing leaders around the world to reconsider their positions and priorities. President Donald Trump's subsequent condemnation of Vladimir Putin marks a profound departure from his past rhetoric. For years, Trump's approach to Russia was marked by ambiguity and at times even praise for Putin. Now his clear and forceful denunciation signals a dramatic change in tone, one that has caught both allies and critics by surprise. This shift could have monumental consequences for the war in Ukraine and for the broader geopolitical landscape. A more assertive American stance may embolden European allies, strengthen NATO's resolve, and send a clear message to Moscow that the world is watching and united. According to former Vice President Mike Pence, this transformation is the result of a decisive internal shift within the White House. Behind closed doors, advisors and policymakers have reportedly urged the president to take a firmer stand, recognizing the stakes for both Ukraine and the international order. The president's personal reversal of the Pentagon's pause on weapons aid and his direct reassurance to President Zelensky serve as powerful evidence for this theory. These actions not only restore critical support to Ukraine's defenders, but also demonstrate a renewed commitment to upholding American promises on the world stage. The implications for Ukraine are immense. For a nation battered by months of relentless conflict, the knowledge that powerful allies are standing firmly behind them can be a source of strength and resilience. It offers hope to soldiers on the front lines and to families enduring hardship. A United States firmly and vocally committed to their cause provides a renewed sense of hope. It signals to the Ukrainian people that their struggle for freedom and sovereignty is not being ignored, and that the world's most powerful democracy is prepared to stand with them in their darkest hour. Ultimately, Mike Pence welcomes President Trump's new stance because he sees it as a return to a proven formula for global stability. He believes that American leadership, when clear and unwavering, can help deter aggression and foster peace, not just in Ukraine, but around the world. For the people of Ukraine, this shift in Washington offers a powerful new reason to believe that they are not alone in their fight for freedom. As the world watches, the hope is that this renewed alliance will help turn the tide, bringing peace and security closer to reality for millions.